Bitter.
How y'all doing? I'm Paul Ryan, your host of the Across the Cowboys podcast. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. And to our regular listeners, welcome back. With me, as always, is my co-host, the greatest co-host in the world, Mike the Pig Crumb. Mike, how are you?
After a game like that, how good could you be? Sports-wise, us talking-wise, life could be different. But my goodness, when you're beat down like that, and I expected us to lose. I picked us to lose by 2 scores, but that was like worse than that.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, Mike. We're definitely going to get into that. Before we do, where can we find you on Twitter?
At CD Piglet, guys, nice and easy.
And of course, no show is complete without the conductor of the Jake Ferguson hype train, Mr. Brendan Fergie Smith. Brendan, how are you?
Still no touchdowns, still sadness for the Jake Ferguson hype train.
Yeah. Yes, man. Crazy, a very odd game for Jake Ferguson yesterday. Brendan, where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Brendan_Smith26.
I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Well, after the Monday night game is over, a third of the NFL season will be complete. Thankfully, there were no major injuries, at least not yet. But Week 6 did offer some intrigue nonetheless, with 5 rookie quarterbacks starting and players like Drake May and Spencer Rattler making their NFL debuts. Week 6 was the week of the running backs, it seemed, with 18 different running backs scoring a touchdown and 5 of those running backs scoring multiple touchdowns. I'll admit my favorite storyline from Week 6 has to be Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni getting yelled at by Eagles fans while winning a game. Unfortunately, the Eagles would go on to win that game. But as the season passes and the games are played, Mike, Brendan, and I are here to share our NFL thoughts. Mike, what is your NFL Week 6 thought?
My NFL thought is the NFC is legitimately wide open. Like Detroit would be up there with one of the best. I think we believe that if San Francisco got healthy, they would be up there. Tampa Bay looks like a possible contender. Green Bay has the offense. What are they going to do on defense? But I don't believe Dallas is in that conversation. I don't believe they are. I don't think they're one of the teams that, the Commanders aren't either. Like, they're fine, but they're not. But there's a good, handful of 6 teams that could get hot and go on a run in the NFC. And it's too bad that our front office decided not to just do a couple of moves, because the team's a couple of moves away from being in that mix, and they decided they weren't going to do it, and now this is the consequences.
Yeah, Mike, can't argue with you there. What's your NFL Week 6 thought, Brendan?
The Niners should never pay for another running back again. They shouldn't. They had Mason going off. What is his name? Isaac Guerrero go for 98 yards. Oh! You don't you have Kyle Shanahan. Stop. Is Christian McCaffrey the best running back in the league when healthy? Easy. Without a shadow of a doubt. I know Derrick Henry's been awesome, but McCaffrey can do everything. So yes, you want to usually pay that guy. But if you have that scheme, no, you don't. You can make it for that push, but why give him a big contract? That scheme is so effing good. And that's what everyone believes Dallas should have if we run the ball 30 times. I don't know if y'all saw that. The biggest problem with the Cowboys' run game is not the talent in the offensive line play. It is that we haven't ran enough with Ezekiel Elliott. I saw that with a content creator post that, and I was like, I don't do this professionally. I love talking with y'all. It's a great thing to do. Some of y'all just need to watch some football, man. F&L, man.
Somebody said that with a straight face.
Yeah, and people were calling him out for it, and he still was like, nah, dude, this is what we need. I'm like, I want to find people that love Zeke. I want to be friends with those people just to see how their minds work.
My first problem that we've ever had with Zeke is this game. I've had no problem. I thought they've nailed Zeke so far. He is a emergency backup that can come in if Rico's hurt. He knows the offense. You don't have to worry about him as a pass protector. He's a short yardage guy. Maybe we should have given him the ball at the goal line for Rico Dowdle, But this is the first game. In the first quarter, him getting 5 carries for 6 yards is stupid. There's no quarter he should have 5 carries in. That's unless Rico's hurt. Then then he comes in and he's your emergency guy, and he knows the offense. And so far before the start of that game, I've had no problem with Zeke. They're doing that. Those people think he's running back 1. I didn't come in like that. I came in like, as long as they don't hand him the ball 10 times, 15 times, then we're fine. He's out there. He's a good locker room guy, this and that. But the people that think that, like, man, if we would have took those 5 carries for 6 yards and, like, gave him 3 more times that, get him to 15, because they're not saying he should get all 30 carries, but he should be the main guy, and then the team should do 30 runs. I'm like, if you're giving Zeke 15 carries, you're looking at getting 30 to 40 yards. Like, that's just what he's been this year.
Mm-hmm. No, imagine this, though, because this is how I took it as. Imagine before the show, I'm complaining to Paul that I don't get to talk enough on this show. I don't get to talk enough. So it's like, so he lets me talk more than you. I didn't read the show sheet. I didn't read it. And so it's like, I have nothing I can provide to this show, but I'm complaining that I don't talk enough. Like, that's what Zeke did.
You're complaining you don't talk enough, but you didn't watch the game or read the show sheet. Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what Zeke did. He's like, I don't know, I'm just putting my head down. No, you're not. You went complaining to management that you're not getting the ball enough when you run like you shit your pants.
Yeah, it was hard to watch Zeke yesterday in that game. It was hard to watch the Cowboys offense overall, but yeah, Zeke definitely did not look good. I'm not sure how many running backs, kind of to your point though, Brendan, how many running backs would have looked good behind that offensive line, at least yesterday. My NFL thought for week 6 is the NFC North is the best division in football. I mean, you've got Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, Jared Goff from the Lions, and you've got what Sam Darnold and the Vikings are doing is pretty special too, but that's a division to watch out for. I think the Super Bowl representative might be in that division.
Yeah. I need to see Caleb Williams face better talent. They have played some really, really bad teams. Yeah. And so, and also he's throwing touchdowns, and I have Roma Dunze in fantasy, and he just doesn't throw to Roma Dunze at all. So it hurts my feelings.
Caleb Williams is going to be good. I watched the tape of Bears games because my dad's a Bears fan. And my dad's kind of like, oh, yeah, I watched he's a diehard fan. He wants them to win. But he's one of the ones that, like, when they're losing, he can't watch it. He has to change. So he's always asking me questions like, what happened? What did we do? So I got to watch the tape. Caleb Williams, he's going to be good. He's going to be a problem. He's good. Like, he's going to be one of those that, like, I think he's going to be better than Jordan Love. Now, Jordan Love has LaFleur. So we'll see. Will his offense be better? I don't know. And then Detroit has an excellent offensive line that sets and a great play caller. But the play caller's probably gone at the end of the year. Will Goff be the same guy? I could see in like 2 years, if Bears build their defense, Caleb Williams could be that dude. He could be running things in that division.
Yeah, Bears defense already pretty solid, and now they've got a run game going, and Caleb Williams starting to figure things out here in the NFL. It's Bears could be I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they snuck in as a 7th seed this year. With the way the NFC's going right as of right now.
Yeah. I mean, I would be right now, the way our team is playing, I'd be worried about playing them. And more of the offense. I know what the defense is, all the injuries and everything, but the offense just isn't there. Everyone's down from what they were last year across the board. So I don't know if we would beat them or not.
Yeah, well, the moment we've all been waiting for, and now is the time we get to talk about the disaster that was the Week 6 matchup versus the Detroit Lions. And ironically, it was also Jerry Jones' birthday. It was the Cowboys' 4th consecutive home loss dating back to the wild card playoff game in 2023. In home games this season, the Cowboys have led for a total of 2 minutes. Still, the Cowboys are 3-3 heading into their bye week, and hopefully will be closer to full strength than they were on Sunday. Even at full strength, do the Cowboys win this game, Mike?
No, they probably lose by 2 scores still. Again, it's tough. They had a late night game against Pittsburgh, got beat up. Full strength would have helped that, but I just think Detroit was too fresh and too well prepared. in this game to for us to be too competitive, even if we had our guys. I think the defense would have played better. I don't think they would have given up like 9 scoring drives or whatever it was, but they would have handled us.
Brendan, what about you? Do you think full strength makes a difference?
No, not even close. I don't think Brandon Cooks changes this 9-point offense to anywhere near 20 if you want to even try to get half their points. And also, I don't think it's not even the talent problem anymore. It's the effort. This was Diggs' worst game, and he was healthy. It was him. I'm just going to throw my shoulder. If it works, it works. He was getting beat left and right by Jameson Williams. It was really ugly to watch. His confidence was in the gutter. It was pretty obvious. That game was just bad.
Yeah, you hate to hear that just because of the game we just had against the Steelers, kind of with our backs against the wall. To have another game with effort issues is definitely discouraging. Says a lot about, I don't know, I feel like it says a lot about this coaching staff. How different is this game if Brian Branch doesn't intercept the ball in the end zone, Brendan?
It changes. It gives us another down. But, Dak's is another miscommunication between Dak and Lamb. Dak doesn't see it because he thinks I'm guessing he thought Branch was small enough where he could try to thread the needle with, a bazooka arm. But, that ball's going to go, Mach 3 if he wants to get anywhere near Lamb without it getting intercepted. I still think it's probably just a field goal on that drive if he doesn't intercept it. So it goes back to MVP Aubrey. But other than that, no, that doesn't. The interception or not doesn't change almost anything.
Do you think that maybe a touchdown there changes anything for you, Mike?
Yeah, I will say what happened is they played man coverage, and Jalen Tolbert, Brian Branch stepped up like he was going to go after Jalen Tolbert, and then he's a smart player, saw Lamb coming in the back. He was on third down, if you want to check it down to Tolbert, go ahead. Tolbert's not a playmaker that's going to make somebody miss and get in the end zone. We'll tackle him. So he drifted back right into the zone where Lamb was coming across. Dak anticipated Branch going down to get Tolbert and just backed right. He threw a bad pass. That one was on Dak. He should have just checked it down to Tolbert and gave Tolbert a chance to make a play. It would have ended up being a field goal. If somehow the ball bounced out of Branch's hands and Lamb caught it for a touchdown, I don't think it would have made much of a difference in the overall score because their offensive line and defensive line were just too good for our respective side to compete with them. They were really good and really fresh, and we are not as good, and we were very beaten down.
Yeah. At what point or score did you know that the game was over?
When it was 20-3 and the defense had kind of survived, held them to 2 field goals. They were still alive. And then Dallas had 2 straight 3-and-outs. They got the ball. It was 4th and 2 in their territory, and they missed it. It's kind of the moment. It was like a desperate move. Okay, we know they've already got 20 points. We need, even though it's our side of the field, we got to get something going. Let's go all in on this play. And when it didn't work, I felt like after that's when the defense was like, okay, the offense is a no-show. They kind of gave up after that, and the game was over. So, yeah, that 4th and 2 was like okay, this is it. And when they didn't get it, it was game over.
What about you, Brendan?
When it was 27-6, I just well, that's awesome. And I started doing schoolwork.
Understandable. Yeah, I think that's about the time that I felt that it was over too. I didn't want to believe it, but I knew it was over at 27-26. A bigger offensive issue, the O-line or the play calling, Brendan?
This game has got to be O-line. Of course, Mike McCarthy, we're going to get into all that. I don't even know what to call it anymore. I can't even call it shit because I think it deserves something worse than that. But everybody on your offensive line looked terrible. Dude, Zach Martin, Hall of Famer, first ballot, easy vote. Holy hell. I remember watching Tom Downey talk about it. He had a pass block grade of 0. Of 0. I don't even know how you do that. I don't. Terrence Steele getting bullied. Honestly, But that's something I blame the play calling on. He got help chipped once on Aiden Hutchinson, who's leading the league in sacks. If your tackle is struggling, you kind of need to put a guy over there to help. Nah, F it. You're on an island. You got this. Tyler Smith looked awful. Bass looked not awful, but bad. And then your center looked lost. BB didn't know who to help. He saw stunts. I'm going to go help Bass. And you see a guy coming right up the middle to murder Dak.
Mike, what about you?
It was funny because I put on my initial thing, I had put O-line because I was like, well, Martin wasn't himself. He allowed 7 pressures. He had a back problem all week. Steel is what steel is. There was issues across the line. And then I was going through my article and I just, something clicked on me about special teams. And I started thinking like, no matter what happens, Fossil always seems like Brendan Aubrey in training camp his rookie year was kicking balls like so far out that it would almost hit people that were doing the podcast, the Dallas Cowboys podcast. Like they were sitting there going, that's going to be our kicker. Like, what are we going to do here? He lost CJ Goodwin. He just, no matter what happens, a new long snapper, everything works out. Like his team is consistently good always. Brandon Aubrey went from not a UFL guy, like he's like the best kicker in football. So like I started to go, damn, if a coach can mean that much. And I went through and I'm like, okay, let's take the Rams. 3 starters are out from their O-line. They come back and beat San Francisco 49ers. No Puka Nacua, or he got hurt that game, I think, and Cooper Kupp was out, or vice versa. But
they were both out.
Yeah, like coaching matters. Like Shanahan loses all his guys. Jawan Jennings goes for 11 catches, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like the more, we're not as good a team as before, but we have a lot of elements of our 12-win teams the last 3 years. And I just feel like after the bye week last year, you had one offense, and now you look at it and it's like, where's that offense? Like, we didn't lose. Jalen Tolbert's a better player. We lost a little bit in the run game, but we didn't run well last year. Our offensive line's a little bit worse, without Tyron Smith. But, like, you have elements to do well, and, like, give me the game Dallas's offense played well. Like, at all. Like they should. Like, you have Dak, CeeDee Lamb, a few all-pro linemen. Like, you have Ferguson's a good player. Like, they just haven't done anything. So I had O-line down when I did the notes, but as I was doing some other stuff, at some point, coaching has got to elevate something. And now he's better than Jason Garrett. Let's we understand that 3 12-win seasons. But I feel like this season specifically, the coaching has been a deterrent. Like it's hurt. So I don't know. I mean, play calling seems to be an issue. Pittsburgh's a great defense. You ran your motions and did your stuff, and all of a sudden you were able to move the ball for 350 yards. You ran for 80 on 20 carries. Dak had a few turnovers that kept you from wiping them out, but you could have went into Pittsburgh and wiped them out a week ago. What happened here? Like, it really is the O-line, but I just feel like I got to give some shots there. Like, play calling is a big part of the issue. It really is. Like, even if you think the O-line's not good enough, open up the plays and give it a shot. Make them learn that way. Get beat up that way, because you're getting destroyed anyway. So open up the playbook and see if they can hold on a few plays, and maybe you hit a couple of big plays.
Yeah, so was this our worst was the defense or offense worse in this game for you, Mike?
Offense for me. And the defense gave up like 9 scored possessions. They were terrible. They were awful. They were disgusting. But they had 4 of their top 5 starters are out. Like their top players on defense. I'm still obviously Micah, Tank. I'm still going to put Diggs up there. He's an all-pro cover guy. DaRon Bland, Kendricks. That's probably your 5 best players on defense. 4 of those dudes are out. So and Lions are coming off a bye. They have an amazing O-line. You already know your DTs aren't going to hold up against better offensive line. So we kind of expected Detroit to be in the 30 to 40 point range, like realistically. The offense got 9 points. And I'm sorry to tell y'all, Detroit's defense is not a juggernaut. Seattle just put 29 on them, went for 400 yards passing. Kenneth Walker had 3 rushing touchdowns. Like, they're not a juggernaut. And they annihilated you. And they whipped you on the O-line. Your quarterback didn't play well. Your guys couldn't get open. Your play calling was like across the board. You couldn't run. Like, everything was bad. And it shouldn't have been. You should have been able – still a loss, still getting your ass kicked. But this game should have been more 42-24. Like, where your offense is at least competitive in there. And they didn't do anything, and that's my number one issue. And it's for the year. For the year, for me, the offense just has never been good enough this entire year. Whether it's the Pittsburgh game where it feels like you're right there, just don't have the red zone turnovers. And you're right, but you have the turnovers. And it just feels like the offense is just not on par this year. I don't know. O-line, I guess. You're worried about the O-line. The O-line doesn't open the holes for running. The O-line doesn't give you enough time pass protecting. I understand that, but, man, the offense has been the problem for me. Defense, we expected to be poor.
I mean, we've even seen at times when, like, the O-line is banged up or we don't have something going, like whether it be the passing or running game, Mike McCarthy figures out a way to get something going. And like you said, that hasn't been the case this year.
Yeah.
Schematically, was this our worst offensive game, Brendan?
Yeah. You put up 9 points. You put up 9 effing points in a 60-minute game. When your offense is supposed to be top 10, top 5 for you to win games. I don't remember what defense you would need to be able to win with your offense scoring 9 points. I don't. This is the worst I've ever seen. Going back to I posted this on Twitter, and it's just really funny because Mike McCarthy started his career in Dallas playing like ass, team hurt, and everything is bad. And he's going to end his career in Dallas playing like ass, everybody's hurt, and you got to get the F out of here.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, Mike?
No, said perfectly.
Yeah, so prior to their game against the Cowboys, the Lions defense was allowing an average of 349 total yards per game and over 20 points per game. On Sunday, there was a point in the game when the Lions had over 450 total yards and the Cowboys had 185. Tom Brady even went as far as to say that the Lions defense weren't world beaters heading into this game, but the Cowboys scheme was making defenses look better than they are. This was easily our worst game schematically, defensively, offensively, everything. What was the Lions coaching staff their biggest advantage for you, Mike?
The trenches for me. I thought their O-line dominated our D-line and their D-line dominated our O-line. Close call there, but I'm going to go with the trenches and then the coaching after that.
What about you, Brendan?
Mike hit it right on the nose. If he scored one of their offensive lineman touchdowns, I would have said coaching staff just because they're petty. But, no, Dak was getting murdered. Every D lineman was pushed 5 yards every run play. I want to see that. I want to see someone get pushed back far and then see a running back be able to do that without being touched. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I put on Twitter that you just know Dallas is in the locker rooms today like, hey, we didn't let Detroit get that offensive lineman to score. We shut that shit down. I'm like, dude, you lost.
Oh, my God.
30,
dude, I saw Skipper and –
pray to God nobody's actually saying that, dude.
I saw Skipper and Decker go to their lineman, and that's why I went to the ref. That's why I went to the group chat. I'm like, we know what's about to happen. We know what's about to happen here. I'm like, you petty bitches. You know what you're trying to do here. They try to get a hook and ladder touchdown to their right tackle.
Bro, on the last play of the game, the victory formation, They had him come in tackle eligible. That is some petty I can applaud. That's my level of petty.
See, the problem is though we all want Ben Johnson, and now he's also Jerry's gonna look at him too young. Don't like. Also, he's gonna go. Oh, you're a piece of shit, and then grudge starts. So he's not even gonna get an interview. They're not even gonna look at you like, nah. Why would we want you? You're mean to us.
Yeah, I got to give it to the Lions. The revenge game narrative was a storyline heading into this week, and they definitely got their revenge this week. Are the Lions better than you thought, Mike?
No, I had them as a top 3 NFC team. I think that's about where they are.
But are they better than the 49ers, you think?
Probably not. I don't know. Well, not now. Not without Hutchinson. Yeah. They with everyone healthy, I would take the 49ers because I think their defense, that they're not going to do that to the 49ers. Like Detroit is not going to go through a whole game running and doing and playing golf and beating the Niners defense. I just don't see that. And I could see Shanahan taking advantage of Detroit's defense because they're just not as good as Niners defense. So I would still, even right now, I don't even know if Niners are over 500, but I would still, all in all, we get to the playoffs. People are healthy. People are going, I would take the Niners to beat Detroit.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like at this point, I think I trust Dan Campbell more than I trust Kyle Shanahan to finish and win a big game. What big game has Detroit won? I mean, they almost beat the Niners last year in the championship game, and what did the Niners do?
They didn't
in the Super Bowl.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, but they didn't.
I know, but I'm just saying, what big games has Shanahan won? Has he won the big game?
I know, but nobody's made it to the bowl.
I'm just saying. That's why I'm saying I trust Campbell more to do it than
I think Shanahan. He's gone to Shanahan gone to 1 Super Bowl as a coordinator and 2 as a head coach.
Oh yeah, no, he was a coordinator. He was coordinator for that.
Well, I mean, he had to win some big games to get to 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I gotta.
I'm just saying he hasn't won the biggest game as many times as he's been.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, Dan Campbell hasn't won anything. I can't give Dan Campbell that over Shanahan. I gotta see Dan Campbell get there first before I could give him that credit.
Yeah. No, then you want to see Dan Campbell face the
game isn't a big game.
You just said Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan's won 3 of those. He's won 3.
Yeah, but he hasn't won the biggest game when he's had the opportunity. He's blown leads. All I'm saying is I would trust Dan Campbell in that game than I would trust Shanahan more is what I'm saying.
I got to go Shanahan there. I got to see Dan Campbell get there and win that game the way I've seen Shanahan do it. I don't give much to losing to Pat Mahomes because Pat Mahomes. Like he's better than what you're going to have. He's great. And if it's Andy Reid or Shanahan, give me Andy Reid. But I can't take Dan Campbell. My worry for Dan Campbell is what happens when Ben Johnson leaves in a year. Like, I could see Goff dropping off a lot. How do you replace that? Like, there's not. Look at Eagles.
The same thing about Baker Mayfield though when Dave Canales left.
Look at Eagles. Great example when they had Bobby Slowick. Jalen Hurts, he's as good as Dak. He's better than Dak. He's this and that. Since Slowick's been gone, and I think Goff's more one of those type of quarterbacks. Like, he needs a McVay. He needs a Ben Johnson. He's not going to throw a bunch of tight window throws or read and go, okay, which one? Oh, this guy. All right, let me try to get that in there. It's got to be like, hey, there's a guy wide open. Throw the Hurts play. The Hurts main play now is throw the drag, pick that guy, and then the drag guy's wide open. You throw it, and he runs for 60 yards. He's hit that 4 times this year, and it's been their one play that he's that, and of course throw it up to a stud like AJ Brown, and he throws a great ball on that. That's no shot to him. He's got to throw a great ball for AJ Brown to get that. But you take like AJ Brown goes down and you take away the crossers, he hasn't done anything. And that 1 year with the great coordinator, he looked like a top 5 quarterback. Now he doesn't even look like a top 10 quarterback. So what happens when Ben Johnson goes away? I want to see that. And then if Dan Campbell can do that, then I'll be like, oh yeah. Because Shanahan is that guy. He's the Ben Johnson. He's that dude.
The guy who had the most historic Super Bowl loss in history is that guy?
He failed for sure. He was also up 28-3 in the Super Bowl. Like, now he choked it.
Yeah.
Choke job. And he's choked other games. Like, now to Patrick Mahomes, I'm not going to. You choke to Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. Like, it's hard to go crazy about that. But that 28-3, you gotta win that. That was bad.
So what about you, Brendan? Are the Lions better than you initially thought, or
no?
Expectations?
I thought they were gonna be dominant. I fully expected them. I didn't expect it to be this bad. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think it'd be like absolute murder. But I'm like, they're gonna win by a couple scores. I had my vote closer just because like maybe they can pull on my heartstrings a little bit. But no, Detroit is such a better team. That's why this revenge game, I'm like, brother, you're beating a dead horse. Like, good for you, man. Yeah, well, they were, and they rightfully so. But like last year's team to this year's team, no, it's not even a comparison. And also, the reason why I still have Shanahan over almost anyone, just of course besides the Chiefs and all them, is because they've kicked our ass year after year anytime we see him. So I can't talk bad about the man who absolutely murders us every time we see him.
Fair. We're more impressed by the Lions' defense or offense yesterday, Brendan?
I gotta say their defense, because of course we knew their offense was gonna have explosive plays. They had the best running back tandem in the league. If Dallas had David Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs, damn. And they got Bo, they got Laporta, but no, it's their defense. Their defensive line murdered our offensive line, made them look like we were playing preseason football. They did it bad enough where they did bad enough where we brought in Cooper Rush and he still threw an interception. Like, there's nothing. There is nothing we could have done against their a little bit above average defense, but we made them look like, oh, dude, they're number one.
Yeah, they had an interception and a fumble recovery. They were still out there going for blood, even with Cooper Rush in the game.
I got to look up this stat really quick because I forgot to write it down. Okay.
I got to say, I thought their defense, maybe our scheme probably made their defense look better than it was. But, yeah, their offense was just once they've got that pass game going, man, they're going to be a pretty scary team. But their run game it's hard not to be envious of that.
They had 11 passes. Averaged over 17 yards per carry, had 0 tight window throws in the first half.
Oh my God.
And then through 3 quarters, 7 rushes went for at least 10 yards, 6 receptions went for at least 20 yards.
I wonder when was the last time Dak didn't have a tight window throw?
Oh God. In a game?
Last year.
In a game, he may not have ever played a game where he didn't have at least a tight window throw. I don't know. That's crazy, with McCarthy. Well, you know what? Kellen Moore maybe, because he had some crazy stuff, but hitches and stuff. I mean, there was probably a game under Kellen Moore that happened. But my bet was with Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett. He never had a game where he had no tight window throws.
That's so pathetic, man.
It's gross.
What did this game teach you about this Cowboys team, Mike?
That Guyton and Smith, left side, Guyton left tackle, Smith left guard, are better than Smith left tackle and Bass left guard. And I don't know if I were to believe that before I watched the last 2, because I thought Bass, going into the year, I thought Bass was one of our best 5 off of last year. I just thought as a guard, tough, strong. Would be able to, play when Zach Martin goes. He'll be the starter there. He's not a starter quality player. Not right now. He hasn't played like it. And if you're going to have two players that are going to struggle, Guyton or Bass, then I want Tyler Smith to be at the position he's better at. And that's at left tackle. He's good. He's a good left tackle. And you're fine with him at left tackle. But at guard, he is a machine. Like that, you don't have to worry about that spot. It's like Zach Martin was for his whole career. That's what I learned from this game. Give me Guyton and let him build. He's the first round pick. He's going to be there 4 or 5 years, even if he doesn't develop into a great player. Let him develop there. Keep Tyler Smith at left guard, and then we got BB at center. That's our left side. Keep it like that. Let it build.
What about you, Brendan? What did you learn about this Cowboys team?
That if they know, I think other than Dak, if they know that this team is more talented than them, they check out. Like they just don't care. Like I said, the defense, it was just throwing shoulders. I'm like, okay, David Montgomery's tackled. Why is he still running? I see 4 Cowboys around him. Why is he still going? Because they're not trying. Dak is the only one trying. And he didn't play great. I'm not saying, but I'm saying he was still trying out there. Like, hey, we're gonna put some points together. We're gonna do this. Well, shit. And then he just goes and he just kept going. Everyone has looked like they quit, and it's happened multiple weeks now. We were 15-1 at home at a point, and we're like, oh, guys, you want to face us in AT&T? I want you to come try. Oh, okay, we got our ass kicked. And now please play on the road every game imaginable. Can we please be the 2023 Rangers and just play every big game on the road?
Yeah.
Fun stat about Dave Montgomery. He had 12 carries, 10 broken tackles in those 12 carries. The highest percentage in the NFL this year of carries with a broken tackle, 83% Like, that's fun. That's a fun stat. It's not.
That play where he's just dragging Donovan Wilson to that first touchdown. Like, I'm watching the game with my mom, and she's like, he's trying to tackle him. Like, why isn't he falling down? Like, does that touchdown count? Like, he's trying to tackle him. Why does that count? I'm like, that's just how it goes, man. It doesn't matter if you try, you got to finish the play. But it's crazy to see like the decline of. I don't know if it's a decline or what's going on with Donovan Wilson, but just to see him not be the playmaker that we've seen him become is strange.
Yeah, he hasn't. He had that 1 year in 2022, and then since his injury, the start of 2023, he hadn't been the same guy. And I'm a big Donald fan, and I love that he never quit playing. That's one thing I like. I like that he's like a dog, but the split safety thing where he's got to worry about coverage too much and stuff like that. Like he doesn't fit the way I thought he would fit. It's too bad.
What I learned from this Cowboys team is the Cowboys are 2 plays away from being 1-5 this season. That's kind of where I'm at with this team. You think about the Pittsburgh game, and even Daniel Jones, if he has a stronger arm, or if Wan'Dale Robinson can catch an open pass, I feel like we're 1-5 this season. Here we are with some.
If the coach wasn't a chicken for Giants either, kicking that field goal inside the 5, we're not going to stop. Just run it. But sorry, go ahead, Paul.
No. I was moving on to the next segment, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I forgot about that. The coward field goal, which I try to fit that into this show, but when the Cowboys are down 20 plus and we still elected to kick a field goal on 4th down, it's like, what?
I think it was 34-6, 34-6, and they kicked the field goal.
Yeah, that's just that's a borderline fireable offense, honestly, man.
For real.
Bye week talk. We're going to talk about 3 moves we would make if we were in charge for the Cowboys, in no particular order. Brendan, give us your first move.
Oh, and I would want to be in this room when I did that, when this happened. It's fired Mike McCarthy. That's the easiest thing I could have said. Dude, when you go in a press conference and you say we got to go back to basics, we're getting everything wrong, whose problem is that? Is it your team's? Technically, yes, but man, who tells your team what to do? Who just says like, hey, I think we should play like this? It's you. And he's complaining, and then you hear every starter saying, hey, we're just not focused. We're just not. If every one of your leaders is saying, hey, we're not focused, people are trying to play hero ball and all this, and they're not playing their assignment. Whose fault is that? Is it? Oh, it's Dak's. It's gotta be Dak's. I'm sorry. Every answer is like, it's like in church. Every answer is Jesus. Every answer is Dak's fault. That's like what it is. No, it's fire Mike McCarthy, and I would have so much joy and have a big smile on my face as he left the room.
Mike, how about you? One of your 3 moves.
I'm trying to trade Trey Lance for a day 3 pick. Get another pick in the arsenal. There's no reason for him to really be there. So yeah,
I'm surprised Miami didn't reach out to try to acquire Trey Lance.
There's enough issues with injuries to where you should be able to get a 6th round somewhere.
Yeah.
Jerry won't do it because of pride. They trade a 4th and they get a 6th. Yeah, that's not happening.
Hey, I'm in charge, Brendan.
I'm just saying.
I'm in charge. He's going to fire Mike McCarthy? Of course not, but you're in charge. You fire Mike. I'm trying to get a day 3 pick for Lance.
I would trade Donovan Wilson, talking about trades. Not only Donovan Wilson, but like other veterans that still have some value, just to try to get anything. But I would trade Donovan Wilson and veterans for sure.
We're in the same. I was trying to limit my instead of just saying I'm trying to trade dudes that we're not going to keep. I was just like, I'm trying to pick up picks. I'll trade Lance. I was trying to pick out one guy, But
likewise.
I
have written down I would trade Donovan Wilson.
If Tank was healthy, he won't be healthy by the time the trade deadline goes. But he would be one you could consider. Wilson would be one. Hooker, Osa. I don't know how many of those guys would get you anything because of how they played this year. But if they could, I'd at least make the calls.
With our success with 5th round picks, I'm like, I'll just take a 5th round pick. I'm cool.
Yeah, get something.
Number 2, I know it's probably not his fault. He'd be the scapegoat, but I would just fire Brian Schottenheimer. I know, like you said, you would fire Mike McCarthy. I don't know how much influence he has on the offense, but he's not doing his job either. So I'd fire him. I feel like he'd be the easiest person to fire.
Well, the biggest thing with that though is McCarthy is the play caller. Like he is that.
Yeah.
The reason I didn't say Schottenheimer because you could combine them because they are the offense. I think if McCarthy goes, I think Schottenheimer's going to say, Dak, here's this plays we think will work against this team this week. You call your offense, like kind of like what Rodgers does. Like you know what? You check into whatever play you think works. If you say we need a fullback and go to I form, F it, go. You tell us what you need, and we got you.
I just I picked Schottenheimer just because I was listening to an interview he did in the offseason on 105.3 The Fan, and his philosophy sounded a lot similar to Jason Garrett and kind of outdated thoughts and not really wanting to use motion or, not really sounding like he has any ideas on how to get an advantage schematically from, that's how kind of what I took away from his interview. So that's why I selected him. But it's probably also, like you said, McCarthy is the major issue there. What would be your second move, Mike?
You know what? I'm switching mine, and I'm going to add to the fire train because I think the guy you fire is Solari. I mean, I didn't think Philbin was great, but Steele was better under Philbin. I believe he's developed younger players better than Solari has. If you look when TJ Bass looked better under him, that was 2 years ago, right? Wasn't he undrafted, or was that last year? Regardless, the line looked better, like survivable more with Philbin in than it did with Solari. And I think a lot of it is that he doesn't like the duo blocks and the stuff they're asking, like the tackles to do. Steele's not great at it. Steele was better at the stuff that Philbin wanted him to do. Yeah. And so, you paid Steele and everything. You might as well get an improvement out of him. So, I'm going to say fire Solari. I'll add to the fire train.
I like that one. That's a good one. Brendan, what about you? What's
we're continuing the fire train. But I didn't say completely fire. But I'm saying promote Al Harris to DC. I think it'd just be more fun. I've already punted on this year. Are we going to somehow sneak into the playoffs? Yes, we will, because the NFC sucks other than its top teams. But no, what's that fun? The DBs love him. The DBs have played better under him. Let's see if he's like, hey, Don Wilson, you've been playing awful. I'm going to put you in this position because I'm with you every day. And just
So
see if it works.
Zimmer becomes head coach then for McCarthy, and then Harris comes up to
Right
I
now,
wouldn't be mad about that.
I kind of contemplated having Fossil as a head coach just because I think that'd be really funny.
That's right.
Because he'd be crazy, and I would like a little bit of craziness.
His units are always good. They're sound. They're good. They do their jobs. If I'm picking one guy, it's going to be Fossil to be my interim coach for the year.
Has he ever run an offense or been a coach?
I think he's been a coach. He had to end a season once as a head coach, like a last 5 or 6 games or something like that.
Gotcha. Let's do it again.
All right, Brendan, what's your final move?
It really wouldn't be like this if it wasn't for this last week and all this, and also just for people annoying me about it. Send Zeke to the Shadow Realm. Dude, you can't publicly call out your coaches for your play. If you're averaging 4 or 5 yards a carry, hell yeah, dude, be complaining. Say, hey, I need the ball more. And I'm like, you know what? I agree with you. You're averaging what? 2 yards a carry, 2.8 yards a carry? Like, brother, get the hell off this team. You do nothing. Blocking has gone to Lipke. Honestly, third down has gone to Lipke. Your main role is Rico Dowdle. You go from, man, hey, Rico had his best game of his career, having 100 yards total of offense. Man, I think we can build off of this. F that. No, we have a almost 30-year-old running back complaining that he's not getting the ball enough. Sure, man. Yeah, and we're going to have him outplay Rico Dowdle. Yeah, get him off my team, please.
I ain't mad at that. What about you, Mike?
I'm playing my young safeties, Bell and Wanye Thomas. And, and then you do what we talked about earlier with Hooker and Dono. You see, maybe you keep one of them. Maybe, you talk to them and go, hey, we got to get these young guys in here and see what we can do. Our defense isn't up to par. And if they're not with it, you figure something out. If they are, maybe you can keep them, but I'm at least getting them up to where they're getting more snaps than they're getting the majority of the snaps at the 2 safety spots.
Yeah, my final move is I'm keeping tabs on Brian Johnson, Dak's old college coach, and building a relationship and trying to figure out how I can get him in Dallas in 2025. He's working. He's the assistant head coach right now in Washington, helping the offensive coordinator of the Commanders. Why is his name leaving a blank?
Cliff Kingsbury.
Who's the offensive coordinator?
Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah. Doing a pretty good job with Jaden Daniel. So, I'd like to see what he could do with his old quarterback, Dak. Here we are with Mike's views from the sidelines. Mike, 6 weeks in, which positions need the biggest upgrade? Do one for offense and one for defense.
Defense DT is clear and obvious, the one. If you look like DaRon Bland, J-Lou, Carson, Diggs, you're pretty good at corner. Safety, you have 4 guys that are adequate. The 2 starters are if the front plays better, Donovan Wilson and Hooker aren't going to get you killed. And I think Wanye and Bell are good backups. I like the linebacker crop. If you're going, I know Leofau and DeMarvion Overshown got hurt during the game, so they went out too to add to the billion other injuries. But going forward, if you look and you're saying we got Leofau, we got Overshown to start this crew, you're happy. And you have Micah Parsons and Nealon going on at defensive end, not too terrible. So DT is where you have to get, especially I can't see you signing Osa. So now you really have nobody there. You need improvements in DT. Offense, you can go I know it's not going to happen, but if you're giving me one spot, I'm doing right tackle over any. just because if I know I have a good right tackle, I don't expect Zach Martin hasn't been the same guy, but he's not the dude he was hurt all week. He was probably hurt this game. He's still a solid right guard. And I think if you put in Austin Richards or Bass, you're not great there, but you can survive one guard spot if your right tackle's good, your center's BB, your left guard is Tyler Smith, and your left tackle is a up and coming Guyton. But we all know they paid Steele. They're not going to do that. Running back seems the easiest. But if I'm upgrading there, I'm not looking to spend money or high draft capital. So if I'm doing that, I'm going wide receiver. I think CeeDee Lamb obviously needs another guy. Like if you had Waddle in Jalen Tolbert's spot, Branch is not sitting back on that play. He's jumping Waddle because he knows if they check it down to Waddle at the 4-yard line, Waddle's going to get in the end zone because he's an explosive, unbelievable number 2 wide receiver. Devontae Smith, Eagles, we hate him, but they got that. Hell, the Giants, Wan'Dale Robinson and Malik Neighbors have, we have the better number 1 guy right now, but their number 2, their like core of pass catchers is better. So I would say wide receiver would be my spot.
All right, Brendan, I'm sure you've been itching to talk about this. Brendan's bashing Week 6 edition. Give it to us, man. Pop those knuckles.
Man, I feel like this could go the same every week. But since it was his birthday yesterday, I feel like I got to go for the birthday boy. I feel like I kind of need to. Because for F's sake, dude, for what he was talking about after this game, I'm like, you're senile. Like, you got to be legit senile for going, man, I was just so shocked with how we played today with a roster with this talent, all the injuries. How the hell are you shocked? Everybody knows it. Bro, the most common fans on Twitter, I'm not even saying the guys who like us who go into detail. They like, hey, I don't think Dallas has that much talent. That's kind of weird that my mom was saying that. And my mom doesn't know anything about football. I love her, but she doesn't know jack squat. She tries, and that's all that matters. But, like, you don't know anything. He allowed the AT&T Twitter profile account to post that they had 93,000 fans, and they blurred the scoreboard. Because that's all he cares about. That's all. They asked him, like, man, hey, so do you know, this is a pretty ugly loss. And we, like, usually this happens. You all usually make a move. Do you feel like you're going to do this? He's like, no, I like who we have. He's like, are you making any coaching choices? No. Do you think I'm stupid? Do you? Do you want the honest answer? Do you want to keep your job as a reporter, or do you want to just give the straight up truth? Because holy shit, like, and the funniest thing is, I was talking with my former coach on Twitter because he's like, man, Dallas has had the same problem every year. Maybe it's not just the coaches, maybe it's the players. I'm like, when you shop in the bargain bin of coaches every year, I guess what the same thing's gonna happen. Man, I keep buying the same 2013 F-150, and it keeps breaking down. You know what? I'm going to go buy this other one. Don't worry. It's got a different owner. He keeps saying it runs really well. Okay, cool. I'm going to go buy this 2013. Shit, it broke down again. What do you mean? And it's just keep getting caught off guard by the same thing every time. It's because, like, man, this scheme doesn't work. We'll go hire this guy. He runs the same scheme. Man, we're going to try to get innovative. I'm telling you, it's going to be Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick. It's like, man, but they won a Super Bowl. Look at this. We're bringing Super Bowl winning mentality to Dallas. How's that worked out?
I gotta say, I disagree with Brendan here because they didn't go buy the same car. Last year they couldn't run the ball and they couldn't stop the run, so they went out and they had Tony Pollard car, and they were like, no, let that go. We're gonna lessen that car. And then they had a better O-line. Like, obviously, they're soft rebuilding the O-line, but Tyron Smith, obviously, better than Guyton, and BB will be better, but the things he makes mistakes at is the things that Biotish was okay at. And then on defense, like, their DTs, Hankins, look at them in Seattle.
Paul died again.
Usual, 54 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Mike,
yeah.
I meant coaches.
Oh,
that's what
okay.
I was going coaches. No,
yeah,
also, your point completely valid. I'm not disagreeing with you in the slightest. But my point was coaches. Because I think, like, man, Dak has had Jason Garrett, Scott Linehan. We had Kellen Moore. Now we have Mike McCarthy. Man, he's had 4 guys. How can he not make anything work? They're all the same people.
They all run what Jerry wants them to run. The thing is, I was being facetious because you're absolutely right. I was just saying they did it this year and did it worse. Like that player wise, they were like, hey, we have these same problems. Let's F it up worse.
Dude, like I said last week, if we kept our we kept our motto, we like our guys, and just re-signed more of our guys, this seems better.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you guys something. I know the next thing on the show sheet is the Cardinals corner. They lost. I don't know their record, but they lost to whoever the hell they played. So that's one game closer to me not having to eat Red Baron, which is an excellent positive. The next thing is one word. Do you have – oh, there we go. Okay, good, Paul, because I don't have I only write down the word. I don't have the whole thing written out. So I was going to be like, Brendan, you have to say what the line is for the one word because I don't know. I already did the Cardinals corner. Cardinals lost. One game closer.
Yeah, they fell to 2-4, and Mike is safe from Red Baron's grasp for one more week. Here we are for one word. The Cowboys refusing to use the stadium curtain to prevent the sun shining in their players' eyes is what, Mike?
Stubborn. Easy.
Brendan?
Stupid. Like
I went with idiotic, so I'll pretty much.
My first word was ignorant, and then I crossed it out, and I was like, you know what? They're just stubborn. They know it's stupid, and they're just like, we're going to do it anyway. We don't care because that's what we said.
Yeah, very, very. I mean, stubborn is actually perfect. All right, here we are with top 5. Best players, non-QBs in 2024 so far. Brendan, give us your number 5.
So I'm saying this because I think he does really well when he's healthy with this offense, but also I did say this because I need him in fantasy more than ever. I love what Joe Mixon is doing when healthy for the Texans. Like he's played 2 games this year, over 100 total yards both times, and I think 2 touchdowns in each game. I'll have to go back and look, but like, dude, he is the dude whenever he's healthy for the Texans. They need him desperately. I know they're 4-1. But that run game was nothing without that. And you just look, oh, Joe Mixon's off for a 60-yard touchdown. That's pretty cool. Life's great.
Yeah. Mike, what about you? Number 5 for you?
Number 5 is going to be Dexter Lawrence. It's a little Cowboys related because I'm sad and jealous. But the guy's a beast, so he deserves it.
I think he's got 7 sacks too, man.
He's ridiculous. There's a 1 technique. He's not even a 3 technique. He's disgusting.
Number 5 for me, I know his season is ended, but Aiden Hutchinson up to yesterday was like playing at the defensive player of the year level. It sucks that he went out that way, man. But yeah, number 5 for me was Aiden Hutchinson.
Only reason I didn't put Aiden Hutchinson because I was like, okay, he's out, so I'm not going to put him. Otherwise, he'd have been in my top 3.
Yeah. Number 4 for me, I'm going with another injured player, but Brendan, you were just talking about the Texans offense. I'm going with Nico Collins, wide receiver. He was like the engine to that offense, and he had elevated his game yet to another level. Sucks that he got injured like after catching a 76-yard bomb. But yeah, Nico Collins was playing like a top 3 receiver, so I'm going with Nico Collins. Mike, number 4 for you.
I'm putting Fred Warner. They haven't had the same year, but they've had a lot of injuries, and he just keeps playing like a beast. His partner next to him's gone. There's a couple of defensive linemen in front of him that's gone. Their best corner's gone, or one of their 2. Yeah, their best. And he just continues to play well and dominate. So, yeah, Fred Warner for me.
Brendan?
So I've been trying to make this campaign for an MVP candidate in Brandon Aubrey because it's the only positive I can bring up almost every game is Brandon Aubrey. Imagine if we had just a little bit above average kicker on the team, just a little bit above average. I don't want to know what this offense would be. I don't know what we would be doing. I would throw up.
We'd be 1-5.
Brandon Aubrey deserves MVP votes.
I am mad at you, man. Number 3.
I I gotta go with Xavier McKinney. Like, he's just around the ball. Like, I know he didn't have an interception this week, but bro, he had 5 and 5. Like, dude, that's great. He's just there. He's just like, okay, cool. And now he has another one. Like, he's been doing so great. And I'm like, oh, awesome. A playmaking safety. I'm so happy for you, Green Bay. But yeah, dude, he's so good.
Xavier McKinney, Jair Alexander for the Green Bay Packers, man. That's a nice little duo right there, man.
That's clean.
Mike, number 3 on your list, sir.
I got TJ Watt. What are you gonna say? He's a beast.
I love that. We have a new listener here, the Sports 78. Thank you for tuning in, man. Let's see here. The least physical Cowboys team I've ever seen. Soft head coach, inconsistent, erratic quarterback play, can't stop the run or run the ball, outdated schemes, meddling owner who's the face of the franchise. Hey, thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for the comment, man. I think
it's all fat.
We all agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get no complaints from us. Number 3 on my list was also Brendan's number 3. I got to go with Mr. Butter Aubrey. Like
you
said,
guys
man,
are
without
so homers.
Brandon, what would this Cowboys be?
I want some positivity, Mike. I need some positivity.
Top 5 non-QBs we put.
Yeah,
here.
Dude.
This is Red Baron level of ridiculous.
Hey, in fantasy,
he's the best kicker in football.
Who cares? He's a kicker. He's still a kicker.
And
he
wins
kicked the
60-yarder.
All right. Okay, guys, here you go. Ready for me to tell you how wrong you are? The Giants just called. They'll give you Dexter Lawrence for Aubrey. How fast are you taking that trade? How about Fred
Obviously.
Warner? How about TJ Watt? You're taking the trade instantly because one guy's a kicker. Instantly. They don't even finish the line. They just say Brandon, and you go, I don't care if it's Cooks, Carr, Aubrey, whatever Brandon they want for Dexter Lawrence, Fred Warner, TJ Watt, you're taking it.
Hey, but you know what's really crazy, though? That they're willing to offer those players for Brandon Aubrey. So if you think about it, like you got to think about his value.
Facts.
They would never offer that because.
Okay. If somebody said, we'll trade you Mozzie Smith for Brandon Aubrey, what would you do, Mike?
Oh, I'd probably
the fact that you have to think about it says a lot.
Brandon Aubrey wins people fantasy games and keeps us in
Aubrey
games.
over Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith hasn't shown he could even, be an impactful player.
I know, but I'm just saying that's the level of kicker that he's at, where it's like he's even more valuable than some nose tackles defensive linemen, though.
Well, yeah,
not the best in the league, but I'm just saying.
Play, of course, a guy who can't play.
He can't play. I thought you said he was having a good year and he was developing last week.
He's maybe a guy. We're just learning. Is he a guy that can play in the NFL at a starter level quality? Brandon Aubrey's the best kicker in the league, so that level, yes. We're talking about top 5 players.
You're gonna be so upset whenever it's like 1982 again and another kicker wins MVP, and you're gonna be like blown away. And I'm going to be here.
Kicker in the NFL this year.
I'm going to bring this clip up.
Top 5.
Top
5.
Yep.
Dexter Lawrence.
All right, number.
You guys better have another 11 guys in your top 5 because Dexter Lawrence and Fred Warner being left off for a kicker. My Lord, people.
Number 2 on my list, Patrick Surtain.
That's a good.
What?
No, I'm not laughing at you, Paul.
He's played 100% of snaps this year.
Oh,
Patrick, I don't think you're laughing at me.
I was saying
you get no complaint about Patrick Surtain.
Yeah. He did get a concussion, though. He does have a concussion, sadly.
Oh, that's what happened, obviously, yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I will take a concussed Patrick Surtain over a kicker.
He's allowed only 11 receptions so far this year.
He's a monster. He is He is the non-Red Baron. He fits. He works. Get this.
Okay, if you're comparing Patrick Surtain to pizza, what is he? What pizza is he?
I am not taught. This is terrible. And we're over an hour. My number 2 is Chris Jones, and my number 1 is Justin Jefferson. Actual top 5 players.
Okay.
Hurry up and
Brendan, number 2 on your list.
Wait, dude, you really didn't say one of them. Wow, I'm actually really shocked. Mine, I said Aiden Hutchinson for number 2 because I was talking about Yeah, I was saying because week 6 and below, he
Yeah.
is not. No matter like what you think about him as a person, or because I think sometimes Detroit is dirty and all that, but he's been dominant. And then number 1, Derrick Henry. Like
What
I'm
the
sorry.
hell?
Beast.
What? What?
Same.
Because he's
That's why I had him as
awesome.
my number 1.
Because Derrick
That's
Henry.
crazy.
Because Derrick Henry is that dude.
My God, man, what he's done for that Baltimore offense has been insane.
The Ravens don't beat the Bengals if Derrick Henry doesn't say, "Oh shit," and during overtime and runs it like 50 yards. Like they don't win that game.
Yeah, there's people thinking that marriage wouldn't work out between him and Lamar. The fact that like he's just shoving it down their throats is lovely to see.
Y'all put
And Brandon Aubrey is the best player in the league. Let's go.
We'll put Brandon Aubrey in the top 5.
All right,
Say
we
Derrick
tried to
Henry.
keep it under an hour. Of course, we failed at that. But Mike, before we get you out of here, where can we find you on Twitter?
CD Piglet, guys, please kill me.
Brendan, where can we find you, sir?
Find me at Brendan_Smith26.
Red
Guys,
Baron.
I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. We appreciate you joining us, and we will see you guys next week.
The Jets wish they had